Hi, I'm Sidral. Welcome back to Final Fantasy 14. So we continue on our Anima weapon quest. You will hear stuff in the background. That's because it is what is it? Landscaping day, or whatever you want to call it. Where the people come and trim up all the hedges and make things look nice and blow away the leaves and all that. All that maintenance stuff. Once again, I must apologize for acting without your consent or counsel. As a gesture of repentance and a sign of good faith, allow me to share something of myself with you. As Urianger suggested, I possess the gift of the Echo, though it is of a different nature from yours. Regardless, I would use my gift for the self-same purpose, the salvation of the star, and nothing poses a greater threat to the world than the proliferation of primal harnessing technology. This I know only too well. What I'm about to divulge concerns the fate of another star entirely. On this world, a magic was devised that allowed a realm's champions to use a stone known as Auracite to contain the power of primals. So armed, these heroic souls conquered god after god, oblivious to their weapons' fatal imperfection, its propensity to bleed primal energies. And with each victory, the heroes changed, transforming at last into fiends of endless appetite. Insatiable in their hunger for aether, they ultimately went to war over the star's ever-dwindling life force, and fought until there was nothing left. Thus, as Urianger so astutely observed, when I am faced with those who rush to embrace power unchecked, I lose all semblance of rationality. Know that my master, too, cares deeply about the fate of the star. I am his servant, his instrument, sent here to ensure that the same tragedy does not consume another world. Balance unto all. Uno has urgent news to share on the current state of the warring triad. Hi, Sky. Warrior of Light, if this world is to survive, we must need to move forward with our plan. Another pillar of the warring triad must be stopped. Must be toppled, sorry. The question of which has already been answered. Following our encounter with the Legatus, Archon Yashola detected erratic etheric waveforms emanating from the sector containing the Echion Sophia, simply known as the Goddess in former times. Such readings can only mean one thing. Well, at least it's not the Time Goddess. She is close to awakening. Let us return to Alislia forthwith and put an end to this primal deity, lest she rise again in all her terrible glory. Otherwise, we'll all be broke. Sorry, thinking about the Time Goddess again. That's a fun reference I don't think anybody will get. I'm acting like there's 100 people in stream when there is one. Healer DPS. Alright, what a name. nope, I want that. Let me store that before I stupidly get rid of it. It didn't have tank in the name, so I guess they just play healer and DPS. They will never touch any of the tank classes. Otherwise, their name would be healer or DPS-tank. I was talking about the game Half Minute Hero. Where's Katana? Yes. Throw that in there for now. Alright, now let's go to Alessia. Oh yeah, I need to get another demo. That's what I was going to do before I started streaming. No matter. We appear to be the first to arrive. Let's wait. Could the 6th Legion have returned? Central! Oh no! Help! We're under attack! Yashola and Urianger have engaged the foe not far from here. On it. Ha! Rarely is my shield thus tested. 'Twould seem the Alleghans have not been lax in their recruitment. First Demiurge, you are not the 6th Legion. Because you're talking about the Alleghans. You're old. Think you so? Mayhap your arm merely withered whilst you laid idle. Still your tongues. We've stalled them long enough. I hate you already. With scales in hand, the goddess shall arise, and righteously cast off her cursed pall, that she, with wrathful Worm King at her side, might judge and thence bring balance unto all. Hear my words in despair, Allians. Our goddess is awoken. Your civilization has birthed the instruments of its own undoing. Ugh. You're an idiot. 'Tis well you're here, Sindral. I should like to know what our assailants were saying. You understood their words, did you not? Yeah, why, you didn't? 'Twas a Mercidian dialect, if mine ears do not deceive, though one which beareth scant resemblance to any spoken in recent times. As for our antagonist's meaning, I do gladly defer to those blessed with the echo. Oh, y'all couldn't understand what they were saying. The one with the shield seemed to think we were Alligans, correct? He recited what sounded like a verse of prophecy, then claimed that their goddess is awoken. That about right, Central? Yeah, you got it. And might we assume that this deity of theirs is the very Echion we've come to topple? Correct. Aye, from their tongue, their words, and their attire, 'tis like that our antagonists were Mercidian thralls to the goddess Sophia and victims of the Alligans' incursions. If, as Cryo claimeth, they thought us agents of Allag, 'tis little wonder that they sought to bring us low. You suggest that Sophia's servants have been liberated from their containment? Then we have no choice but to accept word of her awakening as truth. Gods help us. The warring triad have proven formidable enough when we've roused them with a fraction of their true strength. Should Sophia break free at the peak of her powers, Syndra and his friends won't stand a chance. Sure will. I'll just bring 24 instead of 8. What? 23. Me and 23, my friends. Let us be about it then. Syndra, Cryo, Unu, 3 of you will make directly for Sophia's containment facility. Urianja and I will do what we can to occupy the Echion's thralls. Mrs. Cryo, do you perchance recall the words of the prophecy in its entirety? Let me see. I believe it was, with scales in hand the goddess shall arise, and righteously cast off her cursed pall, that she, with wrathful Worm King at her side, might judge and thence bring balance unto all. Pt.8 is now available. I'm going to look this up pretty quick. Okay. Interesting. Let's give it a go. Here we go. This boss just sounds annoying. That's cool looking.
I leave the goddess in your capable hands. Just watch out for her worshippers.
Kryle's not joking about that. Oh, then the like the containment field opens. Oh, fancy. And the scales, remember the whole scales of judgment thing.
The unenlightened come.
So finally 2 days trying to keep clear. She gets that one because I was reading that.
Know you the full weight of death.
There's the line attack. Why is that person reviving? There's cloudy heavens. Alright, there's the ads. Yes, it's the 3 we saw from earlier. One's a healer, one's a DP. Darn it. Benediction, you.
Even in death, there is no release. Come forth, scales of revelation.
Okay, then we have these scales.
I would know the weight of your souls.
equilibrium. I shall take back the balance.
Now you can see we will get slid. Ah!
Sin must be balanced with suffering.
Depending on which one, you know, gets marked. It's supposed to be meteors, but I didn't see no meteors.
Daughter, be the bearer of my wisdom.
And do not be where she is. Because that will also knock you around. See, I didn't see no meteors. So I don't understand that part. All I saw were lines, but, you know, whatever. You lose! Obviously, if you're on the wrong side of the scales, you're going straight up. Wow, not a single player accommodation. That's lame. Not even that guy there at the end. I revived him twice. I think it was the same person twice. I see the goddess is no more. Well done. Once Kryl and Unu have rejoined us, we may safely depart. One thing yet puzzles me, however. How did Sophia's servants come to wake from their slumber? I believe we have the answer to that. We discovered the remains of a Garlean soldier in an adjacent sector of the containment facility. 'Tis like the fool ventured too close to Sophia during the Empire's previous incursion, and was enthralled for his troubles. Another reminder, if any were needed, as to the incalculable threat posed by these beings. The goddess would not have been conscious when she claimed the man's will. Not have even been conscious. And yet his mistake granted her the means to release her servants, and would have resulted in her own liberation had we not been on hand to intervene. I do much wonder that the Ekion's pawn was capable of so effectively manipulating the facility's containment systems. How came he by such rarefied knowledge? That, too, is easily explained. During our investigation, Kryl discovered a subtle flaw in one of the mechanisms which held the goddess in check. A flaw which had plainly been added intentionally. Upon examining the facility's records of the period, we were able to piece together the story. It was a time towards the end of the Third Astral Era, when the peoples of Mercidia faced extinction at the hands of the Allegan Empire. Sophia, a being of incomparable cunning, was said to have communicated certain plans to her servants through the medium of a trusted oracle. Following the Oracle's instructions, they duly conspired with the rebel faction within Alag who, we believe, agreed to tamper with the prison intended for Sophia. And then the goddess and her thralls chanced to be captured, though we suspect this had always been their plan. Indeed, the prison was situated at the heart of Alag, and we think they intended to attack the city from within. They would merely have had to wait for the rebels to exploit the weakness in their confines. But the conspirators' dealings with the Mercidians were exposed before they could enact their plot, and all were summarily executed. It seems that the flaw itself remained undiscovered, however, and might have remained so until the end of days had it not been for the actions of the Archbishop, and subsequently the Garleans. I cannot help but wonder what might have come to pass had their scheme been successful. Mayhap the answer lies in the prophecy. Cryle hath the right of it. Its words may be deciphered thus: the cursed Paul speaketh of Sophia's prison, from which she was supposed to emerge at the agreed hour. The Worm King, meanwhile, can be none other than the great Bahamut himself, then yet a prisoner, whom the goddess did intend to unleash upon Alag to set right the scales of justice. A foolhardy plan. Had it come to fruition, the two of them would surely have razed the realm. Naught would have been spared the devastation, the Mercidians' homelands included. Their home already stood on the brink of oblivion. Mayhap they wished for naught else but to purge the poison of Alag with primal fire. The tale teacheth us that even the greatest of man's creations may yet be brought low by a single act of treachery. The Alleghans were fools to place their trust in technological bondage. To shackle such beings is but to delay the inevitable. Naught save their total destruction shall free us from their menace. Let us return now to the Rising Stones, and there consider the final step of this most needful task. The threat posed by this facility is far greater than you imagine, Urianger, and not limited to the Echions themselves. Sophia's remaining servants must be put down. Beep bloop. Warning. Deactivating stasis chamber support systems will result in subject termination. Enter identification code to continue. Identification code accepted. Subjects terminated. I'm making sure that does not happen again. I'm brutal, but It's autumn miss, Warrior of Light. Archon Shola mentioned that there was a matter she wished to discuss. Well met, Syndrome. You will forgive me if I seem curt, but I would settle an account with our young friend. While conducting a final sweep of Sophia's containment facility, we discovered that all of her remaining thralls had perished in their stasis chambers. This was your doing? Aye, it was. Chose to act upon the knowledge revealed within the tombstone we discovered. True purpose of these prisons is far more horrifying than we first assumed. The Alleghanians were not simply observing the Echions and siphoning away their energies. They were conducting experiments in preparation for a far more ambitious project. If you'll recall, both the Fiend and the Goddess were imprisoned within massive spherical structures. These spheres were the prototypes which paved the way for the successful construction of an artificial celestial body. You speak of Delamon. Aye. The Echion's cages are unmistakably of the same design as the Red Moon. To be plain, the research facility contains the seeds of 3 calamities, which might feasibly be visited upon a chosen target. Eliminating one of them necessitated the destruction of the goddess's slumbering thralls, a distasteful task befitting one such as the Warrior of Light. Thus did I resolve to perform the deed myself. You made your case, and 'tis apparent that we were not in full possession of the facts. Nevertheless, your notion of what may or may not be expected of Syndro is presumptuous in the extreme. When the Warrior of Light chose to join the Scions, he did so in the knowledge that he would be required to face and destroy not only the Primals, but also their fanatical servants. That which you term a distasteful task is an essential part of our calling, a burden which every Scion is sworn to shoulder. I see. 'Twould seem I misjudged the depth of your resolve. No matter. Assuming that I have made myself understood, we need not speak of it again. There is, however, one other subject which merits discussion. You determined that Sophia's thralls were woken by a Garlean soldier who had somehow gained access to the containment area, did you not? If that is the case, it seems highly doubtful that the interloper wandered into such a dangerous part of the facility by chance. Dissidents within the Empire claim that the 6th Legion is rife with agents, under orders to thwart the Legatus' mission by any means necessary. Lest you imagine that we have allies in Garlemald, I should clarify that their motive is wholly uncharitable. Of course it is. Regula Van Hydrus rose to the top of the Garlean military on merit alone, and is fiercely loyal to the Emperor for recognizing his efforts. His compeers, by contrast, rose through the favor of the established order, and would accordingly do anything to see him fail. That they would be so reckless. You truly believe that the actions of these agents contributed to the recent crisis? Aye, and that they pose no less risk to the realm than those loyal to the Emperor. Plainly, we must needs continue to do all in our power to prevent the technologies of Alec from falling into the hands of man. On that point, at least, we have ever been in complete agreement. Here is hard mode. Or I should say extreme mode. Goddess. This formed part of a greater title intended to test Alec's elite warriors. Quite how it will compare to the challenge presented by the Fiend's Tombstone, I cannot say. Only one way to find out. The last pillar to fall. Greetings, Warrior of Light. But one pillar of the warring triad remains. Zervan, the Echion known as the Demon. According to the histories I have uncovered, this monstrous being was worshipped by a race of Mercidian beastmen. These creatures are the key to maintaining Zervan's manifestation, and we can be sure that many such thralls will be imprisoned somewhere within the research facility. It is imperative that we determine the exact location as swiftly as possible. As such, your fellow Scions have already begun an exhaustive search. But there are several factors which only you, Kryl, and I can enter several sectors without fear of enthrallment. So let's go help. I never did explore this place completely. What does that have to do with our current objective? Absolutely nothing, but... It honestly doesn't take that long. You fly at a really good speed. Ain't nobody else here today anyway. And let's just be plain. I'm doing this for the achievement. Because I'm always about achievement. And it's like, oh, I haven't done this yet. Let's do it. Still not high enough for the flagship. It's nuts. It's so high up. I just decided, oh, let's do it now. Phi Slammer Gamma South. Mapping the realm. I get the same way. Just sometimes I'll just get on an achievement kick. It's like, all right, let's go achievement hunting. I haven't really done that. I haven't done it here yet because there's so much for me just to do story-wise and beast tribes and things like that I haven't like pulled up the achievement list and it's like, let's go do this today. but I would do that in WoW a lot. Syndra, it's good we caught you. The facility has been stormed by Imperial troops. By their standards did we judge them soldiers of the 6th. Aye, once more doth Regula Van Hydrus stretch forth his hand to seize the forbidden fruits of Oleg, and once more have our meticulous wars been swept aside like so many cobwebs. Your meddlesome wards were destroyed from within by the pulsating energies of an Echion. Oh. Hi Van Hydrus. Nay, put up your weapons and listen. The followers of Zervan have awakened, and they toil to rouse their master. The demon's worshippers yet slumbered when we confronted Sophia. Could the tampering of her thralls been more widespread than we thought? They shared a common enemy. 'Tis not unthinkable that they would seek to free all those the Alleghans had imprisoned. Yes, yes. Cage doors are open. And while you stand here quibbling over who picked the locks, my soldiers are inside the facility risking their lives and their sanity. Yeah, I have like looked through some of the achievements, and some of them are really difficult. How went Sophia? Just fine, actually. I didn't die. DPS died a few times, and I revived them, but all in all, it wasn't really that hard. One of the mechanics was kind of goofy. Like, I read up on the fight before we started. The whole scale thing and falling off the stage. I didn't, but I didn't see what the guide talked about either, so... I mean, it went fine. They have volunteered to face death to prevent Zervan's servants from waking him in the fullness of his power. Yeah, the crafting job ones are ridiculous. Or ridiculous achievements. Now, assuming you have at last understood the gravity of the situation, it's time I rejoin them. But you cannot hope to succeed. The Echion will enslave the minds of any who draw near. Thus did I seek out the power to resist his influence. Aid us. Mayhap my men will not perish in vain. You propose an alliance. I've delved into the depths of this place and found its technology wanting. These mechanisms have failed to hold their prisoners, and such broken artifacts are unfit to bring before the Emperor. Twice you have bested me in combat. Will you now lend me that strength and stand against our mutual foe? 'Twas in opposing your reckless schemes that Isale was lost to us. You expect to simply forgive and forget all that has come before? No. I expect you to put aside your emotions and use your better judgment. Of course, I am dealing with savages. I'll not stand here and justify the death of the Ice Maiden. We pursued our ideals and you pursued yours. Such was the result. And mayhap you might consider another point. In these endless clashes, we have lost comrades dear to us. Yet I choose to put aside past grievances and beg your champion's aid, to appeal to your reason. Thou art willing to build a bridge of common purpose upon such tumultuous foundations? I too am hesitant to accept this arrangement, Archon Y'shtola, but the offer has been made to the Warrior of Light, and 'tis his involvement which shall ultimately sway its outcome. I shall abide by Syndrel's decision. No, I'm in. Zervan must be stopped. We can deal with the Empire afterwards. We can deal with the Sixth Legion afterwards. If they want to throw down after we do this, fine, we'll throw down. But I mean, he's right. I'm with y'all. I like Regula here. He's right. Mrs. Krell and I also resistant to primal influences. We shall aid you where we can. Let us be on our way. That was cool. Program request acknowledged. Take this. Families of... Oh, I missed that one. For initiating the program, Elite Squad applicants must agree to extensive physical data corrupted. Unable to verify input. Applicant agreement accepted. Prior to your service, post-mortem data will be used to improve survival rates of subsequent applicants. Your sacrifice is appreciated. Successful applicants will progress to Elite Squad induction. Families of unsuccessful applicants will receive twice standard death benefits. Woo! Double benefits. Our companions have already passed through the research facility. We should not lag behind. The demon stirs. Like a suckling babe, he feedeth upon the aether siphoned unto him by his thralls. We must need deprive him of this sustenance. Then we destroy those devices. Alright. Hold! Witness your soldiers! They have turned against one another. Even half awake, Servant corrupts and converts those who enter his aura. Oh, don't you look cool. 3 of us then, Syndrel. Who knew? We rush in together and each disable a generator. We cannot give them the chance to rally a defense. Right. There are 4 mechanisms by my count. If I can avoid the Ekion's miasma, my blade will make short work of the last one. We all of us have pledged our lives to... Keep your lives. I would rather you tend to my fallen. Some may yet survive with their minds intact. I know not if my strength will be enough. I'm no champion. Battlefield is no place for uncertainty, boy. Fate has blessed you with a unique talent and an occasion to use it. Do not waste such a gift. That's why he rose up the ranks, right there. We strike! You tell right there, that's why he was able to rise through the ranks. Wrecked. One. 2. Gods, Zervan is... Oh no! Ah! Oh no! Oh! Oh no! He slumbers once more. You saved me. Why? I told you, boy. Yours is a gift too precious to waste. A gift the Emperor may one day have need of in his war upon these untamable Echions. Emperor Varus, he raised me up from the ranks, stood against my detractors. I gladly give my life in his service. You must finish this. Slay these leeches upon our star. Kill them all. Kill Zervan. We must needs withdraw and prepare our assault. At the cost of his very life, the Legatus hath pried open a window of opportunity. Forgive me if I show little gratitude for my rescue. It said the Emperor and Van Hydrus were childhood friends. Foul fortune, we should be the ones to bring news of his death. Research facility crawls with Zervan's faithful, and they will not cease in their efforts to rouse him. If you'll honor the Legatus' sacrifice, you must slaughter those fiends to the last. He was an enemy, but I mean, major respect for Regula there. I thought Regula a cold and ruthless man, but he showed surprising compassion for his soldiers. Also seemed he placed great trust in his emperor. If Regula could be convinced that the technology for containing primals is fatally flawed, then mayhap Varus can be convinced as well. His wounded soldiers will live, but further battle is beyond them. I have counseled them to remain here until their compatriots arrive to bear them home. 'Tis not often I dare approach so close to entities such as Zervan. How sharply I am reminded of the burden we place upon those blessed with the echo. Sad. There's a lot of respect. He cared for his soldiers, so much so that he came and asked his mortal enemy for help. That alone was something. But then to sack his life for his emperor and the chance to stop these things. That's, you know, to save the rest of the troop here, the rest of his troops here. I mean, that's, again, like I said before, you can see how he rose to his station. He earned it. He's dead. Had I only been stronger. Enough of that! There'll be time for regrets after we've rid the world of Zurvan. Cryo has the right of it. The demon has fallen back into torpor for now, but we must act swiftly if Regula's death is to have meaning. The survivors speak of an army of thralls loose in the facility. We must assume that these followers continue their efforts to awaken the Echion. Let us then concentrate upon diverting them from their task. Mistress Kryl and Master Unu, prithee secure the controls to Zurvan's shackles and limit the restoration of his might. Archon Y'shtola and I shall forge ahead and strike down those thralls as would seek to harry you. Warrior of Light, thine is, as ever, the most perilous duty. As always. Gather thee thy trusted companions and extinguish from this realm the fires of the demon himself. Containment Z1T9. Alright, let's take a quick look at this. I don't like this one already. It sounds complicated. Singularity here. Average wait time 14 minutes for this one. Lame. It does seem that way. I'm not the one eating. There you go. Now let's go. Yep. She's here.
There's been enough sacrifice for one day. We must take the chance we've been given and defeat Zervan now.
He's like stuck there. That's interesting. I don't want to be there. That much I get. That much I understand. I am Zervan. Oh, I'm getting hit. Yeah, I'm dead. What was that about not insta-dying?
Good and evil, the war eternal. My doubt is fled.
Sorry, I was trying to dodge the other attack.
I shall rise above all. Bear witness to my will. Bow to my infallible judgment.
I enjoyed that. That looked really cool. If I wasn't so pissed off right now.
Suffer in endless torment.
Fire.
Suffer in endless torment.
Well, at least we got through it. Credible as always, Syndrome. Hopefully that'll be the last our world sees of the likes of Zervan. Every one of his thralls have been slain as far as we can determine. Our victory over the Warring Triad is complete. An impossible feat had we not been blessed with your cooperation. Let's not forget the efforts of Regula Van Hydrus and his men. Without their noble sacrifice, the demon would have awoken far sooner and possessed of far more formidable energies. Bodies of the fallen now accompany the survivors on the return journey to Garlemald. 'Tis known that the Imperials recognize no god, yet they would honor the dead in their own fashion. Yet when next we meet, our fleeting alliance will surely be forgotten. 'Twas an interesting exchange, nonetheless. Spoke of their present ruler as a man who values self-sufficiency. Varys befriended Regula in their youth, it seems, and was highly impressed by his martial prowess. 'Tis common knowledge that Regula's rise to Legatus was in great part advocated by the Emperor himself. Freely admitted his shortcomings when it came to politics, and it was Varys' unconditional support that served to win his undying fealty. One does not expect such tales of comradeship to lurk beneath the Empire's iron exterior. Contrary to all expectations, the man died a hero. Witnessing the way you all leapt into danger without hesitation, it would seem I'm surrounded by heroes. Yet my own actions were aught but heroic. I have not the qualities nor the character to stand at the Warrior of Light's side. What a curious thing to say. Are you truly concerned you do not measure up to some arbitrary requirement? If you knew the path I walked to reach this place, then you would understand why I doubt myself so. Return with me to the Rising Stones, and I shall tell you of it. Victory over Zervan, the Warring Triad is finally defeated. I'm afraid, however, that my own efforts have often been more of a hindrance than help. Boy, I know that feeling. You and your fellow Scions deserve to hear the reasons behind my actions. Promise to tell you of my journey, who I am, where I am from. Truth is, I am not of this world. I was born of a different star, a child whose power of the echo was too feeble to save his dying world. A child who, unlike you, never became a warrior of light. When all I knew stood on the brink of destruction, I was yet half grown. Had I been born but a handful of years earlier, history may have written a different tale. Seeds of other heroes that had yet to fully sprout may not have withered and perished. The star I failed to save is known to you now as the Void. Though Sindral knew not I spoke of my homeland, I have explained to him before the cause of its ruin. Magic was devised to contain a defeated primal's might within a stone known as Orosite. Energies which bled from this imperfect vessel gradually corrupted the champions who wielded it. These heroes became slaves to an insatiable hunger for aether, eventually transforming into hideous fiends, and none who clung to the faint traces of light were strong enough to oppose them. The demons next turned upon each other in a war which drained the land's aether in even greater amounts, until one day the star was suddenly swallowed in a flood of darkness, an entire world unmade in an instant. The void sent you encounter here in this realm are the twisted remnants of once mortal beings who gnaw on what motes of life force remain. As I lay dying, beaten and broken in my failed last stand, 'twas a white-robed Asian who found my tormented spirit and bore me away to the rift betwixt worlds. Elidibus has been my master ever since. At my mentor's feet did I learn the nature of reality, of the existence of mirrored worlds and the internal struggle between dark and light. Sudden and overwhelming superiority for either side will shatter the balance, and the world in question will be returned to the void by a calamity beyond imagining. As the self-appointed custodian of this balance, my master warned me that the source, the first of all worlds, slips perilously close to oblivion. Self-appointed is right. In what spirit did this master proffer such a warning? A benevolent gesture or veiled threat? That one, the second one. To these questions and more do I mean to coax forth answers. Yet no matter his intention, that Heidelin doth teeter on a knife's edge is an undeniable truth. Knowing this, what choice was given you to make? I choose to join my master and act as his instrument on this star. Tragedy that befell my home cannot be repeated. I will see this world saved. And yet I hesitated at the most crucial of moments. What right have I to stand alongside a true warrior of light? In thine own words, thou wert called before thy time, and I offer that thou dwellest much on the question of what maketh the hero. Search for the answer leaveth thee paralyzed by doubt. Heed me, Master Unu. Thou needest not believe thyself a hero to perform great deeds. 'Tis the deed itself which earneth thee the hero's mantle. Aye, the ideals you hold can be less important than having the faith to act upon them. Regardless loyalty to the Emperor guided his actions until the last, and though we did not see eye to eye on many things, his final deeds can be called not less than heroic. Firstly, I find that the faith in my companions allows me to act unhindered by uncertainty. I know that should I ever falter, Sindral and the others will be there to support me, or steer me back onto the right path if needed. I see. In the days leading up to my world's destruction, I was entirely alone. Never knew what it was to have such comrades. Cannot imagine the loneliness you must have felt. Look around you now. You're not alone anymore. Except your master can shove it. Welcome to the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I will fulfill my promise to save this world. When I stumble, I shall be glad to have your hands there to steady me. My apologies. It's difficult for me. For so long I have spoken from behind a mask. Used to mask. We should all feel comfortable speaking without such concealments. I should hope you appreciate the irony of that statement, Urianger. Yeah, right? It is ironic for him to say that. The last pillar to fall. Demonic Duplicate, which is the extreme version. Take a look. Information contained with this device appears to have been used to generate a simulated battle of grueling difficulty. Painted a simulation of Zervon, the power of which has been enhanced to the Ekion's highest conceivable magnitude, described as the final trial for the most elite allied warriors, intended to distinguish the truly exceptional among them. Witness no champion more exceptional than the Warrior Light. Threat level extreme. Final qualifying test for surviving elite squad enlistees. Participation is only permitted to candidates who agree to unrestricted biopsy procedures following the trial. Specifically, enlistees who successfully complete the program will be certified as genetically superior and must submit to cell harvesting for subsequent cloning initiatives. Elimination trial survival rates are currently calculated at 1.9%. Empire, thanks for your service. Postmortem data will be used to improve the survival rates of subsequent candidates. But with that, looks like we're done with Best Friends Forever. Ah, your return. Scarcely imagine what terrible trials you contrived within the recesses of your mind. That actually went and did to me. Trust you revisited all the primals? Yep, they all sucked. Excellent. With the Anima now possessed of knowledge of the primals in all their forms, and the strong desires that spurred them into action, we need only reinforce what it has learned. Send it to school, right? For that, we must use the magics that gave birth to Mistress Matoya's amphibian familiars. Though they began as ordinary frogs, she transformed them into what we know as Pogoros by means of an enchantment that served to awaken knowledge previously imparted to them. Pauses that, by using the same spell, what the Anima has learned from reliving at your side your confrontations with the primals can be ingrained into the very core of its being. The spell requires a few unorthodox ingredients, however. I can procure them all myself, save one. Form of enchanted ink used in days of yore, whose recipe has been lost to time, or so it's generally believed. Secret deep in the heart of the Charlene motherland, where they're acquainted with a merchant who trades in exotic goods. Perhaps there's another way. Faintest idea where to begin. A single bottle will more than suffice. Need ink. Archaic enchanted ink. Archaic enchanted ink. 500 tombstones. Of course it is. exclusive variety of enchanted ink that we require. Yep. Here's this. Here's your ink. Excellent work. Long have I been curious to see the splendor of Mistress Matoya's wisdom firsthand. With all these regions now accounted for, my curiosity will at last be sated. Let us begin. Behold, the color has changed just as Mistress Matoya said it would. Splendid, splendid. Next is the more delicate step of the process, inscribing the arcane circle needed for the spell using this magic brew. And there, I believe that should do it. Whew. I was all but certain the trembling of my hands would make a mess of the inscription. As the final step, we need but place the anima weapon within the circle and hope the desired effect is achieved. Spell is ready, but its magics must be involved by your hand, Syndril. In doing so, you will shape the anima's sense of self and purpose in the world. Close your eyes, envision the path your anima will take, and allow your aether to flow into the arcane circle. Let's see, what will you wish for? Freely choose his own destiny, to fight faithfully at my side. Choose your destiny. Syndril. Your memories of battle were quite... I feel as though I truly was there at your side, supporting your every blow against the primals. Reflected deeply on all that I have seen about the primals and the dreams and desires that spurred them into action. Realize now that I have a simple wish. No matter how pure, how innocent, can at times be used to bring about calamity. All I ever wished for was the strength to protect you. But am I not unlike the primals? An ethereal being seeking ever greater strength to fulfill my desires? If that power should come to cause you harm, the mere thought of it chilled me to my core. No longer. Now I have felt the warmth of your aether. Your earnest plea has banished my fears and filled my heart with unwavering courage. Freedom. This is what you did wish for me. Indeed, the world is vast and full of wonders, and I would see them all by your side, as your companion and ally. This is the path I choose of my own free will. Oi, the anima weapon's lit up something fierce. Reckon it's gained more than a new sense of self, if you get my meaning. Could it truly be? What are you waiting for, Syndril? Take the anima weapon in hand. Neat. My word, have you ever seen anything so exquisite? This, my friend, is the power of your wish made manifest. A form befitting the anima's newfound resolve. And I dare say, it deserves a name to match its resplendence. I hereby dub you Syndril Lux. Or Lux. Be Lux. Yay! Raised a fine ally in the anima, Syndril. Thanks to Mistress Matoya's magics, we have sparked create a new sense of self within the anima through a joining of your minds. This marks a significant milestone in my research. One that would not have been possible without your efforts. Have my thanks. With that said, this method for developing anima is far from efficient. Very much doubt there are many adventurers with such prodigious experiences to draw upon. No. To devise a means for the greater populace to nurture anima as robust as yours will require further research. Mark my words, From the lowly fishermen of Loneska to the temple knights of Ishgard, I will not rest until anyone and everyone in our fair realm can reap the rewards of Anima. Oh, it's your chocobos there, Adashir. Just how many of those bloody things you plan on making? I did say anyone and everyone, did I not? Much work to be done. And I would be most appreciative if you could honor your end of the agreement. You are, of course, free to leave, if that is your want, though I suspect Rowena would be disappointed. This is bull. You can do it! You no good, stinking sack of... You're lucky me selling kettles ain't as gainful as it used to be. When all this research of yours is finally finished, I'm dragging your scrawny arse to Rowena myself, and we're gonna settle me debts right then and there. Got it? Wonderful. I knew you would come to see things my way. I look forward to a long and fruitful partnership. Words fail to express my gratitude. Go forth, explore, and share the realm's myriad wonders with the Anima. When next you return, I look forward to hearing your grand stories of adventure. What it inhibits now is the pinnacle of martial perfection. It's really done. This is so unfair to draw. Damn it, I got no time for it. No, see, we can't even do that because that gets added to his tabs, which is bull. Sindri Lux. Neat. And now you go away forever. Next. So much to do. This interests me because I have a feeling this is the next weapon. And we shall call it Eureka. Because it has to do with Rowena. But there's lots of other stuff to do. You could bring him an ale. Yeah, I suppose that's true. But the game won't let me, or I would. Because he got a raw deal here, man. It is unfair. What did we have? Ah, we did have 60. Darn it, I knew it. 960, 70, 80. St. Muhammad, Alexander. Palace of the Dead. Thorn March Extreme. They already paid through the nose for all her other stuff. But that's going to do it for today. Tomorrow, let's knock out... Let's get the Beast Tribe thing done, because I would like to see what's going on with that. I mean, we worked to max out the Beast Tribes in a realm reborn, so let's go do that. We'll do that tomorrow. I need to go do these, and then we'll have the next step of the Kojin ready to go as well. I think that'll be the plan. Sorry for a shorter stream today. Until tomorrow, where hopefully we will have a lot of fun. Repair stuff. I'm Syndril. Remember to shoot for the stars and take care, everyone.